Every morning, just as the sun began to warm the city streets, Maria would push her small coffee cart to the same corner. It was not a fancy cart. The paint was faded, and one wheel always squeaked a little. But to the people who came each day, it was the most important place in the neighborhood. Maria arrived at 5:30. She unlocked the cart, filled the water tank, and lit the small burner. The smell of fresh coffee soon mixed with the cool morning air. By 6 o'clock, the first regular would appear. His name was George. He was 73 years old and walked with a cane. Every morning, he ordered the same thing: a small black coffee, nothing else. Maria always had it ready before he reached the cart. George would stand by the small wooden ledge, warm his hands on the cup, and watch the city wake up. He never said much. But some mornings, he would tell Maria about his wife, who had passed away 2 years ago. Maria always listened. She never rushed him. At 6:30, the school teachers arrived. There were 3 of them. They always came together, laughing and talking. They ordered lattes with extra foam. Maria knew their orders by heart. Sometimes they were tired. Sometimes they were happy. But they always left with smiles, carrying their cups like small treasures. Then came the young man in the blue uniform. He worked at the hospital across the street. His name was David. He worked the night shift and stopped at the cart on his way home. His eyes were always heavy, but he always said thank you, as if Maria had given him something more than just coffee. Maria watched them all. She saw their lives change, little by little. She saw when the teachers became sad one week, then happy the next. She saw when George started walking slower. She saw when David began coming with a different expression, less tired, more hopeful. One Tuesday morning, something unusual happened. A woman in a red coat approached the cart. She was not a regular. Maria had never seen her before. The woman ordered a tea. Then she stood to the side and waited. A few minutes later, David came out of the hospital. He walked toward the cart as he always did. But this time, he saw the woman. He stopped. The woman in the red coat turned. They looked at each other for a long moment. Then David smiled. It was the biggest smile Maria had ever seen on his face. The woman walked to him. They spoke quietly. Then David brought her to the cart. "This is my sister," he told Maria. "She moved to the city last night. I haven't seen her in 3 years." Maria felt something warm in her chest. She made the woman a tea, and David his usual coffee. They stood together by the cart, brother and sister, talking and laughing. After that morning, the sister became a regular too. She came every day at the same time, waiting for David to finish his shift. Soon, she started talking to the teachers. She helped George when his cane slipped on a wet leaf. She became part of the small family that gathered around Maria's cart. The weeks passed. Winter came. The mornings grew darker and colder. But the regulars still came. Maria added a small heater near the ledge. George brought cookies one day, homemade, from a recipe his wife used to make. The teachers shared them with everyone. David's sister brought a small radio, and sometimes they listened to soft music in the early morning darkness. Then one day, Maria noticed something. The teachers were not laughing as much. They came, ordered their lattes, but stood quietly. Finally, one of them spoke. "The school is closing," she said. "They're moving us to different schools across the city. We won't be coming here together anymore." Maria felt her heart sink. She looked at them, 3 women who had become part of her mornings for years. She did not know what to say, so she did what she always did. She made their lattes with extra foam and handed them over with a warm smile. The last day came. The 3 teachers stood together at the cart. They took pictures of each other, of Maria, of the cart. George came early that day to say goodbye to them. David and his sister came too. They all stood together in the cold morning air, holding their cups, not wanting the moment to end. One of the teachers, the youngest one, started to cry. "I will miss this," she said. "I will miss all of you." Maria reached across the cart and took her hand. "You will always be here," she said. "In this corner. In my heart. And whenever you drink coffee somewhere else, you will remember this place. And we will remember you." The teachers left. The mornings became quieter. But life went on. New people started coming to the cart. a construction worker who liked his coffee very sweet, a young woman who wrote in a notebook while she drank, a postman who always told a joke before ordering, and the regulars who remained, George, David, his sister. They welcomed the new ones. They shared the heater. They shared the cookies. They shared the music. One spring morning, as Maria was setting up her cart, she found a small envelope tucked under the lid. Inside was a letter and a photograph. The photograph showed the three teachers standing together in front of the cart, laughing. On the back, someone had written, "Thank you for the mornings. Thank you for the warmth." Maria pinned the photograph to the inside of the cart, where she could see it every day. And whenever a new customer came, she would point to it and say, "These are my friends. They moved away, but they are still here." The coffee cart remained on the same corner, day after day, year after year. The regulars came and went. Lives changed. People moved. But the small community around the cart continued. Because Maria understood something simple and true. A cup of coffee is just a cup of coffee. But a moment of kindness, a listening ear, a warm place on a cold morning, that is something people carry with them forever. And so the squeaky wheel still turned. The small heater still glowed. And every morning, as the sun rose over the city, Maria stood behind her cart, ready to serve not just coffee, but connection.